All right, let's talk about a new way to think about programming with AI. It's less about strict, rigid rules and way more about just creative flow. It's this iterative, conversational thing people are starting to call vibe coding.
You know that feeling, right? When you've spent hours hunting for a single missing semicolon or just wrestling with the same boring setup code over and over again? It's frustrating. But what if you could change that? What if coding felt less like fighting a machine and more like having a creative chat with a partner?
And that right there is the whole idea behind vibe coding. It's all about turning AI, those large language models or LLMs, into your creative copilot. See, the goal isn't just to get code written faster. It's to explore, to learn, and to create in a way that feels a lot more natural and, well, fluid.
Okay, so that sounds pretty cool, but how do you actually do it? Because it's definitely not about just typing a question and then blindly copy-pasting the answer. Nope, there's a real strategy to getting the most out of your new AI partner, and we're about to break down the playbook for you.
For your day-to-day coding, it really just boils down to these 3 key techniques. It's all about how you ask, what you ask for, and, most importantly, how you check the work. So let's dive into each one.
First up, good prompts. This is absolutely crucial. LLMs just love to generate tons of extra fluffy code that can make debugging a total nightmare. So you have to be direct. Ask it for short and simple code. And here's a pro tip that's a real game changer. Always include the current date. Why? Because these models are trained on older data, and they might give you outdated code. I mean, it's kind of funny, ChatGPT is notorious for trying to use old versions of its own API. Putting the date in there just helps nudge it in the right direction.
This next technique is all about shifting your goal from just getting an answer to actually learning something. So instead of asking, how do I do X? Try asking for a little variety. Something like, show me 3 different ways to solve this problem and explain the pros and cons. This forces the LLM to give you way more context, and trust me, it can uncover some really creative solutions you might have never thought of.
Now this one might just be the most powerful technique of all, validation. Never ever trust the first answer you get. Instead, take the code from one LLM, let's say ChatGPT, and then feed it to another one, like Claude. Ask that second model to review the first one's work. Is it correct? Is it simple? Is it clear? It's basically like getting a free instant code review.
So these techniques are fantastic for small functions or little scripts. But what happens when you're building something bigger, like a whole application? Well, the strategy has to evolve a little bit. Let's get into it.
Here's the trap that so many people fall into. They ask the AI to generate a huge, massive block of code all at once. The problem is, when it, inevitably, doesn't work perfectly, trying to debug hundreds of lines of code that you didn't even write yourself is an absolute nightmare. The solution is to work incrementally. And if you're not even sure how to break your big idea down, just ask the LLM. Have it outline the small, independently testable steps for you. Then you just use the vibe coding techniques we covered to build each little piece, one by one. You can even ask the LLM to write tests for each block, which you then run yourself to confirm everything is working perfectly before you move on.
So, if you only take one single thing away from all of this, let it be this golden rule. Start small and work incrementally. Seriously, that's the key. That's how you build large, complex projects with an AI partner with confidence without getting completely lost in a sea of buggy code.
Look, when you treat your LLM less like a magic code generator and more like a creative partner that you need to guide and validate, you unlock a really powerful and I'd say fun new way to program. The tools are here and you have the playbook now. So the only question left is, what are you going to build first?